You are listening to Radio 4EB 98.1. Up next is the African program presented in English. Hello everybody. It's great to have you on the show tonight. My name is Real Valerie and I will be your host for tonight. Thank you for joining us again today for our Sunday session on the African program. Let's tap into Africa. Today I've got Skumbuzo in studio, and we are going to be chatting about quite a lot of stuff. A bit random, but it's time to catch up with old friends and stuff like that. So hello Skumbuzo, can you introduce yourself to the audience?
Hello, my name is Skumbuzo Vundla, and I currently stay in Cyprus. I'm a master's student for international law.
Okay. That sounds exciting. International law, how did you get into that?
Quite funny though, because before I came here, I started, back home in Zim, I started, at first I was doing computer science, finished that, and then I decided to leave the country. Actually, when I was coming here, I wanted to keep studying computer science, and then I just decided to change it. Why not? So I started studying.
The reasoning was like, why not?
Why not? Why not learn and know everything? So, and then that's when I started studying international law. But I would like to think that this is my passion, and I enjoy it more because I love reading books. And so international law for me is quite interesting because it just does not fixate on one typical type of law. You're basically playing around with all the laws and just
you're getting vested in touching a bit of everything. Sounds exciting. So with international law, I'm trying to kind of failing to grasp, because I guess I'm still stuck in that whole mindset of employment. Where would that apply directly?
Well, international law can easily apply to politics, laws of the land. The basis is English law.
What does that mean? Yeah, you're talking to a layman here. You are confusing the hell out of me. What the hell is English law?
English law is English law. I wish I knew. It's something that I haven't really been asked that question, because you're like, oh, I'm studying. You're studying international law. But then now that you're asking me, I feel like it's a question that normally people don't ask me, because I know that they already know. So
so you'll be playing with your peers at work there, and then you think the whole world knows.
Exactly. I'm assuming everybody.
So I guess you would say English law is common law, like you say, like a legal system of the England and Wales. But you're in Cyprus.
Yes, they study. Their legal system is also, apart from Turkish law, we also have English law. Since that, history. If we go back, it used to be colonized by the British, so they still using English law.
So that's more criminal law and civil law and things like that. It's a lot. So where do you see yourself with that? Like, honestly, I can't fathom. The possibilities seem endless. Like it's like unbound.
It is. I can venture. What I really like about it is that I can get to work in most countries that have the legal system like English legal system. So be it if I choose to venture into politics, or if I choose to just be politics, I think I'll venture into politics.
Are you going politics? Are you going the direction of politics? Or you're thinking of it?
I'm thinking of it.
What would that look like?
That's going to be a challenge. I would like to. I've been thinking about that, because it's, especially when it comes to politics, it's not something that's easy that you can just say, oh, I'm going to venture into this. And you have to know the right people, and you have to be strong for you to push and for you to be able to be known, and also it's all about connections, I think, everything.
So what are you doing right now to push for that?
Right now, well, I'm still studying. I'm still doing my thesis. And so after this, that's when I'll start really
Thinking about it.
Yeah, for now, I've been so engrossed in books. So it's not, when you really fixated on the books, and then you tend to forget sometimes, like, when I'm done with this, what am I going to do after that? And I feel like it's a disadvantage because I experienced that when I was doing my undergrad. I was just pushing books. Let me just graduate. And as soon as I finished graduating, like the day that I graduated, I will not lie to you, I was not happy. Why? Because I started thinking, so what am I going to do with my life?
You're just
Where am I
like,
going
now
to start
what?
from? Now what? And then now what? What have I been doing this whole 4 years? What have I been doing with myself? And sometimes it can lead you into sort of like a depression. They call it postgraduate depression. Because now you're thinking, what am I going to do? People expecting me to, at home, back home, to be doing something. You have to have something that is tangible.
I'm one
Because
of
you
those
graduate,
people. I was like, hey, she's finished now.
I want to lie to you, I was clueless. I had no idea. I'm like, oh yeah, everybody's happy for me. Everybody's asking me, so what are you going to do? And I'm
At
like,
some point, I even thought you were coming to Australia.
I wanted to, but then it's and something that can be also crippling is that the fact that you don't have that knowledge, especially, okay, this is a disadvantage, especially here. Learning, I would say that learning in Cyprus, I won't lie to you, tends to have a disadvantage to it because they push books, and then they want you to leave, go back to your country.
Straight
But
after
then
you're
they
done.
don't, yes, and they don't even have those facilities whereby just before you graduate, you have that career program. So this is what's going to happen. When you step into the real world, it's not going to be all roses. You have to start figuring yourself out.
You
You
have to
have to,
hustle.
and yes, and sometimes it can be so stressful because now you start thinking, okay, I have nothing. I have so many friends that went back home and they've had to be public prosecutors and all that stuff. But back home, we're not really getting that much money. If a person's going to get 300 Zim dollars a month and you're a lawyer, you start thinking, so where am I going? Why have I been wasting all of my years? So it's quite
Not
it's
only
quite
years,
challenging.
the money too.
And the money too as well, because this place is not cheap.
I guess
It's
it's
very
the
expensive.
story everywhere, but back to the whole thing of, I guess it at the moment, because you are in the books, as you just said, don't you think it'll be worth a think about like which direction you're gonna go rather than, like what happened in your previous experience, like having to deal with it on the jump?
I've been thinking about that honestly, and the next best thing that one could do is go back home, start from scratch, work your way up. Uh, be it you being a prosecutor, go and start working with the magistrates and start working from scratch. So yes, that's what my friends are doing as well. So you have to so at least you have clients, and then your name is now well known out there, and then from there you start changing from companies to companies. And mind you, I even have some of my peers that are even working like odd jobs back in them.
At
So
least you can go and represent Tatelicious.
I don't know how to represent. I'm sorry. I think
No, we're not
mostly
even going to talk about, every other important
yeah,
issue. You
because
can go on
I don't
some
really no, I don't even follow. I don't really follow her, and I'm not quite well versed with. It's just one of those you just pass through, you just swift through, and then okay, this was the edit again,
random
and then you just
entertainment. So
yeah,
have you
random
looked into
entertainment.
like stuff like mentoring and coaching over that side? Like, do you guys get to like meet with other locals and stuff like that and kind of have those opportunities? Because it looks like you have to charter them yourself.
That's a very good question because first things first, the part that I am in, North Cyprus, is mostly Turkish, right? North Cyprus,
Yep.
Turkish based. So you tend to find that most of these people, they don't speak English. And if they do speak English, it's hi, how are you? That's it.
That's as far as
So
it goes.
mentoring, yeah, that's as far as it goes. And you're going to find a few people that have traveled abroad and all that stuff that are well versed with English, the Queen's language. But to say that I would want to start mentoring, it's going to be quite a challenge because it's not everybody that's going to be receptive of it. And also you need that support, especially from the universities,
Yeah,
and you
true.
need to know certain people that can help you out. But it's not something, because it's not something that's easy. We once tried to actually form a lawyers association, and I was the vice president. Where did it go?
Woohoo, there
Nowhere.
you go, Miss Politician.
We try to push it, but then sometimes you end up getting tired because the more you keep pushing, you actually see that, okay, fine, it's not, even the deals, they're not even receptive of it unless if you choose to push and push and push. And we just ended up dissolving the whole group because it was not working. So now I'm thinking, even if I was to start mentoring, it'll need me for me to push. It'll maybe take me 3, 4 more years for.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not
a chunk.
that easy.
But
Mentoring in Cyprus is you talking to your friend and mentoring them and telling them.
no, but you've done the hard yakka already. Like, look where you've come from and look where you are now. Trust me, I remember
That's
because I was there with you.
I know.
You've done the hard yards, like literally. So what's just
I
left
have, I have.
is to just figure out like a better way into it. Like right now, let's say we're just talking about just bouncing off ideas each other. So we spoke about
Mhm,
mentoring. So physical mentoring might not be a possibility. Have you looked into
mhm.
online mentorships, connecting with people like on LinkedIn, people who, kind of have walked the same path as you have and things like that?
I, to be honest, I have not looked into that. Why? First things first, my social media, I'm like a ghost.
Yes, I was
Number one,
complaining about that today. I'm like, whoosh, you can't find this girl anywhere.
I'm like a ghost. And number two, most people, once you, even if you try to push that, most people are going to be laughing, especially Zimbabwean people that are here. They will laugh at you and say,
No, but you're
where we.
reaching out beyond Zimbabwe because I can tell you, like here in Australia, there's people,
Mhm.
and I know a bunch of lawyers and other people just generally like in my community, and I'm pretty sure there's more widespread in the world. If you connect with them, let's not even talk about Instagram and all those rubbish. No, no, no. If you like
Mhm.
connect with them like on these network platforms that you can join, and there's LinkedIn that you can identify people and kind of have those conversations, I think it'll be very helpful.
I never really thought of it because I'm not a person that is out there, out there.
Ah,
So
come on. Come on.
to think about mentoring someone else, I also need
No, no,
a
no,
mentor.
I'm saying you getting mentored before you mentoring anyone else. You getting mentored before, like getting someone who's already up there, who's walked that journey with you, like before you.
Well, somebody who I think has been my mentor is my brother. And since he's also a lawyer as well, I've also learned quite a few things. In as much as he's still trying to establish his own company back in South Africa, I've realized that you can mentor me. In as much as we're not focusing on the same thing, I'm studying international law, and he's doing his own thing because his company normally it facilitates on people are unfairly dismissed.
Mm-hmm.
So he represents them and they get a compensation and all
So
that
he's
stuff.
into compensation law.
Yes.
Nah.
He's been my mentor, and also my mother has been my mentor. And it's a good thing once you have a person who studied psychology in the family, you get to
Yeah.
talk to, and they're going to understand you. So it's a good thing. I would like to say my family has been, because it's like the best of both worlds. My brother's wife is a lawyer. My brother is a lawyer. My mom studied psychology, and
Yep, it is actually quite the Brady's bunch.
it is interesting.
Ay,
Yeah.
ay, ay. And
He's
then
now a pastor, if you
who's a
didn't know.
pastor?
My mother.
Oh my God, when did that happen?
2 years, 3 years now.
Wow, okay. I need to give her a call. I need some
So
deliverance.
it's really, trust me, my family is really,
I
you
need
should
some
hear it when
deliverance.
we
So I'm
discuss.
gonna be hollering and saying, "Hey, mom, it's me again."
Yes, she's going to help you out.
Oh no, that's all right.
Unfortunately. So I think on that, I've been okay. when it comes to that. But normally, you know what happens, Vale, is that they're also expecting you to do things your own way. And as much as they're mentoring you, they can give you as much as they can give you. But then they're saying, okay, fine, we're giving you this. But then now, what do you want to do yourself? And then you're like, I don't know. You're like,
No, but you've just told me, like literally within this little realm that we've spoken about, though it might not be like, but it's a glimpse into what you want to kind of gravitate towards. Like, I don't know if it makes sense. It's, I guess, the more you talk about it and the more you think around it and not being stuck in a place helps you kind of see your options. Like, yeah, I had a meeting with a coach this other day, still deliberating whether I should go forward with it or whatever. But I found myself thinking about things that I had planned like yonks ago, like ideas I had, and I was kind of afraid to pursue, but they were still there. And all you're thinking is, oh my God, am I good enough? Oh, will I be able to to see it through? Oh my God, this plan is too big.
Because I was thinking about that just 2 days ago. I'm thinking I'm the one that's holding myself back because I'm scared. I'm thinking, am I good enough to venture into certain things? And so I start thinking, nah, I don't think I'll be, I don't think I'm worthy enough to be there. But then I want to be there, but then I'm scared as well. So it's not easy.
We need to break the mentality and break the cycle. As Jay-Z said, listen to me quoting Jay-Z. He says, yes. Fear is your only God. That's as far as my intellectual capacity flies.
No, it's true. You, as I say, I don't feel like when they say, oh yeah, this and that has been held, we only hold ourselves back. Nobody else does.
Yeah,
because
true.
of that, you start asking yourself, am I worthy? Am I good enough? Am I going to be able to do it? So it starts from there. But once you tell yourself you can achieve everything, you can do anything and everything, you
can pretty much do it. I've got a bit of a risky read. I'm pretty sure you might have come across it actually, because we're just settling the topic right now. It's a risky read, I will say. The Secret. I'm sure you've come across it. I don't know if you've read it. Try get the smaller version first. Don't go get the big one first. Get the smaller version first. Oh my God, I had my mind blown about just simple things about how beliefs can hold you back and how you can self-sabotage without even realizing it, and just getting above. But then I'm just going on the surface. I'm not going to go too deep in it because I'll sound a little bit crazy. But I'm so into it. But I'm so into it.
I understand what you're trying to say. I think I'll read that.
Yeah, it is actually. So the smaller version is called The Greatest Secret. So that's the smaller version of the book. And then if you like it, you can go further. But that one, it will just kind of, it's like peeling an onion. Like you just go in, you're like, wow, every day, you're like, wow. And you just realize it's all internal. You're like, oh, wow. Mental health is a very important thing. It makes you kind of start digging into things you never actually thought you would ever. Because when you're younger, you're just going through life, just swerving in it.
It's as I always say, I always joke, I'm like, I'm just vibing, man. It's just vibes.
With your stress on your back, you're vibing, you're going.
Vibes on vibes, baby. We move.
And then somehow you make it. You're like, oh, yeah, I kind of thought I would, but yeah, I'm here now.
You're surprised with yourself, like, is it me? Did I do this? Like, I was just vibing. It's just vibes on vibes.
But it's all you, baby. It's all you. It's all you all the way. And that's super proud. Anyway, besides that, in as far as balancing the whole, work life, how is like, I know you go to school. Are you able to like work that side?
Well, interesting enough, let me shed a little bit of light about Cyprus and working. You can work, but it's that cheap labor, and it's, how it is, you're a foreigner, so they're going to take advantage of you, not pay you enough, work you more hours, maybe 12 hours a day. I remember I once worked in at a resort. I was a waitress, and we used to work from 6 a.m. till 12 midnight. You're not allowed to sit down. Maybe you're going to have a break in the afternoon for 2 hours, and then you go back to work. And you're supposed to be staying at the same place because they don't want you. If you stay like outside of the workplace, which means that they won't be able to call you anytime they want to call you and be available. So working, you can work. Most people are working, but then now it's just cheap labor, such that you realize that, say, 100 TL, I think you can only afford to buy maybe a loaf of bread. And I don't know, a loaf of bread is like 30. So imagine if it's 35 TL a loaf of bread, from 100, we left to 65 TL. And then you still want to eat, you want to buy the basics, you want to buy, and they pay you. People, basically, especially students, maybe they get paid at most 100 TL a day. So you find that people, you working, sometimes you're like, you know what, I'm better off not even working because now I'm stressing myself. I have to go to school and I have to go to work, but I'm not getting anything out of it. I'm just stressing my life out. So
that's a tough one.
Working, it's not very conducive for you to work, because even if you find a good paying job, it's going to be at most, you're going to get paid maybe £300, and your rent could be £200, and then you're left with £100.
Yeah,
and then you still pay for yourself. So
I guess the logic is that you are there to study, isn't it?
That's what they push, because they ask you, you came here to study, why do you want to work? You came here to study. It's not like
I need Fenty. I need
huh?
Fenty and the new Air Force Ones.
Imagine, and you think I need Fenty, I need the new Air Force, I need this expensive perfume. You can't do it. You cannot. Because they're telling you, you came here to study, and once you're done, go back to your country.
Well, at least you guys got winter. Here we've got heat wave. At least you can appreciate that. We got heat wave.
No, honey, it gets cold. It really gets cold.
Like sub-zero stuff, like North Pole stuff.
No, it's not that cold, because I normally when I talk to my friends who are in London, they're like, "Oh, it's not even that cold." And I'm like, "No, it's like 8 degrees. It's cold. I'm freezing." They're like, "No,
I'm not going to work after 8 degrees."
Really?
No, I'm not going to work after 8 degrees. I still get the frostbite, I assume. Really? Remember, I couldn't even survive in Gweru. If you remember Gweru, that's where I learned. I get the frostbites in the arms and in the toes. And I always, during like cold winters, and they were not even like, maybe they were like 10 degrees or, like 15, but, I had to like stay indoors, like in the dormitory, because if I step out, little Missy was going to get amputated.
At least I'm lucky I never had frostbite, but my friends, I remember they used to have frostbite, and we used to call them sausages.
Oh, they were terrible. They'll be like purple and numb. Oh my God.
Yeah, it was so, but because I grew up in Mutare, right? So I got quite accustomed to the cold.
Yeah, Mutare is pretty cold. Oh, Mutare, my favorite, the most favorite place of my life. I swear I'm gonna buy a big piece of chunk something down that side, down that way, but not Mutare though. What's it called? Kumakomo. It's in Mutare, but after Nyanga, yes.
Nyanga.
That's the one.
Before you go Mutare, right? And then you turn, you make your left turn. I remember that. And then you go Nyanga. They're actually nice. You can choose Penalonga as well. Is nice. It's beautiful.
Penalonga. I think I've been there as a kid, but I don't remember what. Because for me, everything there was like Mutare. Even for me, Vumba, like all that, I'll be like, Tukaenda kwa Mutare.
And Vumba, wow. Vumba is so beautiful. I think I would love to stay in Mutare. Of all the places, I don't like Harare at all. It's too busy, dirty. Mutare is better.
Okay, so for our listeners, the places we're talking about are found in Zimbabwe, one of the most beautiful countries there is. Take it from me, right? Agree with me now.
Very very beautiful.
Yeah.
Especially Mutare. Let me put Mutare on the map. Mutare is so beautiful. People should go and visit Mutare,
No,
especially
definitely. That I agree with you.
Kumba. Yes, Mutare is so beautiful.
In studio today, we have Skumbuzo Vundla, and we were just, catching up and talking about studying overseas. She's in Cyprus currently and just sharing her experiences. And yeah, we spoke about a lot of stuff that, affect, most students everywhere. And we've established that the most important thing is family support above all else, and, finding different strategies to, to better yourself and find, like when you're done, so that you have a better place to start when you're finished with your degree and you're not asking yourself what. And then she talked about post-grad depression. Is it something that you can expand on, what post-grad depression is?
Okay. Since I experienced it, I think I'm the first person to talk about it. Post-grad depression is, well, for me, how I experienced it, I can't start because I'm not well versed in that field. But what I can say personally, what I experienced was that just before you graduate, I remember I was talking to one of my good friends. We're like, why don't we just freeze this semester? Because we're not ready to graduate. Because now you're thinking, oh, the pressure that's coming from the family. Oh, you're about to graduate. So what's going to happen now? Also, the pressure from my mom. Have you applied for, have you started applying for jobs? And you're thinking, oh,
Oh, yes. Have you
goodness,
started applying for jobs?
what exactly. So now that pressure is on you, and other family members, extended family members, are asking you, so what are you going to do now? Are you going to come back home? What are you going to do? And I'm thinking, even if I come back home, I'm still going to be sitting at home because I really don't know what I'm going to do with my life. And in as much as I've been pushing and pushing and trying to graduate, that was the end goal. Like it's like you have the start and the end, right? But then you're not really thinking about after that because you're just living in that moment because you're focused on trying to get that degree
And not to fail,
and
yeah.
yes, and not fail. So I started asking myself, so what am I going to do? What if I don't make it? What if it doesn't work out well for me? We know in Zimbabwe so many graduates are sitting at home, or you're going to be sitting by the side road selling
Or driving a combi or selling vegetables by the side
or
of the road.
yes, yes. Or apart from that, you're going to just go back home and get married and become a housewife with
Oh.
your degree shelved. So I started thinking about all of that stuff. And I remember, in as much as I was looking good on my graduation, I was not happy because I'm thinking the pressure,
The pressure
the
is
pressure
real.
is too much. The pressure is real. And I was so distraught because I'm thinking, what am I going to do? What's going to happen next? Where am I going to start getting the money to fend for myself? So I got into a depressive state whereby I was asking myself, am I really a failure? Okay, fine, I've achieved this, but what else after this? Till I started talking to one of a good friend of mine called Kwashe. He graduated a semester before me. And he was like, you know what, take your time. We're not all supposed to do things when, you know, just because Vale is doing this now, it doesn't mean that I have to be achieving the same things as you. It doesn't mean that I have to buy the car, a car or a house the same time that you do. But then we feel that pressure. You're
Now the
thinking,
pressure is
oh, all my
real.
people, they're already driving cars, they own houses, they're doing this, they're doing that. What about me? So I really didn't want to do anything, just sleeping. You don't want to think about anything. And then even when you decide to pull out your CV and then it doesn't work out, you're like, oh, I knew it.
Oh, I know
And
that feeling. That feeling, that was like my first year in Australia. Like I didn't work for the first year I got here. It was terrible.
mhm,
It sometimes feels like you just want to bum around and everyone else around you has got their life going on and everything is sorted and you try so hard. I remember I used to walk around with my friend called Rutendo here now. Um, I remember there's once we walked in the rain. We were so distraught, and at least like she had a job, but she was helping me find like my first job. I'm talking like this is 8 months in with nothing. And we're walking into these aged care facilities, constantly dropping off CVs and stuff like that. And I remember one day it started raining, and we were like in the city, Fortitude Valley and stuff like that. And you know what? You just want to break out and cry, like, why me? But I remember that day we just stopped. We looked at each other and we just laughed. It was so sad. It was hilarious. Like you just
sometimes if you don't laugh at the situation, if you take it serious, trust me, it's not going to be easy. Sometimes you just have to laugh at the situation and be like, you know what, God, you only know. I'm trying.
It has been quite the journey. And also, I think it also has to do with the pressure that we put on ourselves as well, because, that whole thing that I know myself, when my mom had me, she was around her 30s. She seemed to have had everything figured out. I'm pretty sure it's the same case with your mom. And I get there to that point of my life and I'm like, Jesus Christ, nothing. You're like, I don't have anything figured out. I thought this time of my life was supposed to solve all my, all the confusion from teenagehood to like everything. I have arrived and nothing.
But you know what? But like, we can't start comparing our parents with us because our economy, when you look at our economy, back then, our parents, as soon as they finished high school, not even uni was like that luxury thing that high school, a person will just start going to work. Before you know it, they're trying to buy a house, they bought a car.
I know.
So yes. And those are people that maybe they'll be like 19, 20, 21 already. They figured out what they
They've
want
got
to
a
do.
job, they've got their first kid, they're already married, and you are like going to your 30s, none of that.
Nothing. You have nothing. And then you're looking at yourself, you're like, so Lord, why do you bring me on this earth if I have nothing? You still at the end of the day, you're still going to be dependent on your parents because you know that when you get back home, you don't have a house to stay in. You stay in your parents' house.
I know. And what even makes it worse? I guess for me and you also, who have a shared experience, which is diaspora parenting. It's that pressure also is made worse by the fact that we have kids, and worse off, we are in a different place where we are supposed to be the providers for our children. And there's nothing that's worse, like that feels worse than the fact that you feel like you're failing one more person and the person who depends on you the most. For me, that journey of just being like, even up to now, I haven't been reunited with my daughter. I haven't seen her in like how long have I been here? Like a couple of years now. It's even up to now, it's a hard journey.
Sometimes I just feel like throwing everything away and just be like, you know what, I'm going back home so I can just, because you think that you're missing the prime years of a child growing up.
Everything.
They need their mother, not their grandparents, their mother to be there to support them, to take them to school, to make them food and everything. And trust me, it's something that's not easy to be so far away because they also need your love. And as much as they don't say it, they do need your love. They do need your support. It's not just the phone calls and saying, oh yeah, I'm going to send money to my child, da, 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 da. No, they need you physically there. And it's not been easy. It's not been easy in that aspect. And it's not even easy. 29 will be asking me, so what are you doing with your life right now? Are you making money? Are you rich now? Because me, if you're going to come back here, you better be rich. I want you to be able.
I know your boys would say it.
Very bold. Very bold.
Oh my God.
And so you start questioning yourself. You're like, okay, your mother has $0.
For me, it's not even that. It was on Christmas. I had an awakening because I had, I left her. She was so young, and now she's like a whole big 10, right? And then one day she just sends me a message. I realized I've turned into an ATM, where she just sent me a message and said, where's my Christmas money?
Yeah.
Like,
That's
how
I was
disconnected.
for Christmas money. I was asked for Valentine's money because this is a boy. He wants to be buying chocolates for his girlfriend. And where's mommy? Mommy doesn't have. Mommy's always waiting for chocolates. She can't even buy chocolates for herself. So it's something that's really challenging and also stressful, because you're thinking that, oh, by now I should be able to be providing and doing all this stuff. But I can't do it because I do not have the means, I do not have the money, and I'm far away.
The distance is the worst, though.
Exactly.
So how do you communicate? Like, I know my daughter now, she's just reached that point where I remember there's a time we used to talk a lot, and then it progressed to basically her, every time we spoke, she said she would cry after every conversation. So she started building that bridge by herself. And then now it's almost like dead silence. You're begging.
Yes, you're begging for the attention. Trust me. I thought I was the only one. Is hi, good. How's school? Better.
Oh my.
I miss you so much. Okay. And
Oh,
I'm like, what are you turning into? I also need the support. In as much as, yes, I know I'm the
but
one
they're
that's supposed to
kids
be
and you
support, but I
can't
also
really.
need that support, you know?
But they're
Why
kids,
are
they
you
don't know
being
any
mean to
better. They're just lashing.
Yes, why are you being mean to me? I don't want to be in this situation, but now I'm trying. Trust me, it used to be before we'll talk on the phone for a long time until is now is next week. If you don't look for them, they're not going to
They
look for
don't look
you.
for you. No, they don't.
No. It's either good morning or they're going to reply the day after that.
Lucky even if you get it, if you get an emoji. Oh, they communicate in emojis. Once in a while, I'm lucky. There's like a stray Snapchat, like a goofy face with some weird stuff. And I'm like, okay, that's something. At least there's thought going on over there. But I don't know. I've tried, but with everything,
It's not easy.
migration and whatnot, it's not easy.
It's not easy. At least with your side, especially Australia, okay, you have that opportunity to bring the child there. But in Cyprus, it's not easy because you know that you're just coming to learn, unless you're just coming for a holiday, which is money that you don't want to spend for a holiday expenses. So you are just like, okay, let
And
me
money you
come down.
don't even
You
have
can
to
come
begin with.
money you don't even have to begin with, because you start thinking about rent, you start thinking about food for yourself and everything
What are you talking
before.
about? This is COVID, post-COVID. Airplanes are like murder. I've been trying to go home, and every time I look, I'm like, 6,000. Oh my God. I'm like, geez, that's a chunk. That's a chunk.
It is, and it's not easy. It's really not easy, because I'm asking. So I remember there's this conversation that I had with my son Tadiwa. It's like, so when my friends ask me what you do, what am I supposed to say? And it was like,
Well, I read books.
and I was like,
Mommy
I'm
is
a
trying
student.
to make something of herself.
I'm like, I'm a student. He said, no, you didn't have to, because it doesn't make sense. You said, but by now you should be doing something. You should have, and I'm thinking,
Hey.
he puts me on check, whereby sometimes you question yourself, did I really give birth to this?
Oh, yes. Yes. The big grand question. The big grand question.
Yes.
I'm always laughing as well because my sister, she now has
Mhm.
3 bouncing baby boys. So you've got one person who's beat you to the boy challenge.
Mhm.
And she's like, oh my God, I love him, but geez, it's a lot of work.
True. Trust me, and what normally, especially with a boy child, sometimes they tend to have certain qualities, because mine is like my twin, everything. So he knows how
They
to press
challenge you
my
in every little
buttons.
aspect.
Mhm. So what were you doing on Valentine's? No, I was home. I was sleeping. It's cold. Okay. And then keeps quiet. So why didn't you send me Valentine's money? Am I supposed to send you Valentine's money? Yes. Can you please tell Gogo that I want money because she didn't give me money for Valentine's? I'm like, we not.
Okay, so Gogo in this aspect is grandma or nana for those who don't who don't understand. So Gogo is nana or grandma. Yes, we can continue. Oh my God, I was like, oh, this kids.
So it's to be honest, it's a challenge. It's not something that's, especially when you start seeing that they actually trying to figure out who they are and what they want to do. And the most recent actually other thing, because it's always shocking me every day. It's like I want to skip a year. I want to write my O levels now.
My daughter wants to write her the primary ones are they called grade 7 ones?
Zimsec.
She wants to write the Zimsec grade 7. She's on grade 5. She wants to write them at the end of this year.
Why?
I don't know. She's in a rush to go somewhere.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm still young. I'm still trying to figure out myself. Please don't rush to go anywhere and make me a grandmother before my time.
Oh, she's rushing to go somewhere. And I'm like, you're 5. She wants to write Cambridge, the whole full yards. And I'm like, enjoy primary school, Lovey. She's not having it. She wants to sit down and write it because she wants to advance to high school as soon as possible.
Yeah, but the thing is that they don't understand. I feel like if you're young, you still want to you'll be in a rush to want to grow up because you feel like you have more freedom, you're more liberated, you can do what you want to do and
why not?
be your own person.
I
But then now they don't understand.
know.
If I was you, I would want to stay the way that I am
They also
right
want
now.
to go clubbing. They also want to leave the
Mhm.
house without supervision.
Very true. And I feel like Taliwa is rushing to that because he's already driving. So he feels like
He's
he
grown now.
wants to be, yeah, he's grown now. So he wants to go the whole year and finish everything. Fast forward and start making money before the mother starts making money. I think he wants to rub it in my face.
We are actually, I guess we're doing our best, and slowly but surely we will get
Easy
there.
It's not something that's easy, and I wish somebody could have told me that. And most times, you tend to think, I wish I could have just stayed home and not
Oh, if I tell you
started
the
the.
amount of times I would have been like after some stressful events and after, like not getting a job or whatever circumstance I went through my life, and you're like, I'm done. This is it. This is it.
Why did I even come here in the first place? Look at me. Look at the things that I'm facing right now. But then I guess there comes a certain point in time whereby you have to grow up and do things by yourself and figure things out by yourself without having your mom saying, ah, don't you think you're so school? So don't you think you're supposed to be doing this? Don't you think you're supposed to be doing that? Oh, okay, I've done this and that for you. And now we have to figure everything out by ourselves.
I know.
Okay, I don't have this, I don't have toiletries. And now it's stressful and I'm thinking, so this is what my mother goes through. I'm broke, I don't have anything, and I'll figure out, so what am I going to eat? It's like, those times, 15, 16, 17, that's when you normally get broke.
Oh, that was us at the book cafe, wasn't it?
That's when you normally get broke. And you start thinking, how does my mom make it? And look at
Oh
me.
no, they slayed, bro. They slayed. Like they
And
just made
I
it
wish
look
they would just give me the
easy.
formula. They don't even, I feel like they're hiding
I
something from
I
me. They're not
don't think
giving us
they
the
had
formula.
one. I don't think they had one.
They're just maneuvering.
I just think, as you said, like circumstances are different, times are different, and expectations at the same time are different. And considering like moving from your country of origin to another country is like starting your life all over again. It's
That's true.
different, like from progressing from where you are. Because I felt that, like, I felt the impact of having to do the shift income because it gives you, you are literally starting afresh from connections, from everything. You are
Everything.
starting everything afresh. So it takes you like so many
You're
years back.
You were so lucky because you went to an English-speaking country. What about me?
Hey.
Turkish. So now you have to maneuver. I always told myself, even up to now, I don't even know how to speak Turkish. So everybody asks me, so how do you go? And I'm like, no, how much? I just go into the shop, how much I pay. I come back to my house. I'm learning, I'm doing international law is in English. At least I don't have to learn Turkish.
Maybe you should
And
learn Turkish.
even if I, okay, fine. Let me tell you a story. It's just 2020, that's when they decided to change. If like Turkish students that were studying law because I'm at Near East University, right?
Yeah.
That was studying law, right? They could go back to Turkey and start working already. They would just find a company, do internship. After that,
Yes, or
done. Before they didn't have to write any bar exams. Yes, you would have to write, but then with Turkish, I remember I have a good friend of mine who he just started working. He was working, and I'm thinking, we just graduated at the same time, and look at you, you're well established already. But now the system, because it's already not designed for especially foreign students, they're not going to give you that chance to work or become a lawyer because I mean they're foreign students, yeah, they would want to also be represented. But then we have Turkish lawyers that represent them and translators as well. If they could give foreign students an opportunity, that would be really good. But
no.
uh,
Well, speaking
it's
of
really
Turkey, so is it like, are you like in the impacted place with the earthquakes and stuff?
no,
So
luckily
like,
enough for
how
us.
far?
Very far, because Turkey and Cyprus. So, but when the earthquake, when it, I was awake when it happened. I was awake, and I'm like, oh, okay, another earthquake. Because last year it happened as well, but it was not as bad as
It's
this one.
bad. Mm,
Yeah. So I was like, okay, this one is hard. It stayed for maybe it was like 10 seconds, 15 seconds,
no, that's
middle of
actually a long tremor because considering you're in the, like,
yes,
you're at the far end, that's, yeah,
exactly. That's true.
that's quite amazing.
So yeah, most of I've actually checked on most of my friends who are in Turkey. They say they find it happened. Is it the east side? That's the east side of Turkey. That's where it really like
It
affected a
really
lot of
hit.
people. Yeah, it really hit
It's a
that side.
tragedy though.
But it's
Anyway, I
sad.
hope because I was listening to the news today and the numbers are just,
Yes, it's
mm.
terrible.
But anyway, it was awesome having you on today. And I hope we can do this again.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed talking to you and catching up with you.
So I'm gonna go and do my thing, and then you're gonna go and do your thing, and then we're gonna do this again.
All right, love. It was really nice talking to you.
Same
And
here.
bye, Australia.
Bye, dear. Thank you for joining us here on Radio 4EB on the African program. We always love hanging out with you, and catch up next week. Love ya.